make a quick video. I got just about everything on. I just got to put the belt on. But I bought this thing here because they claim it swivels, and it does. But it doesn't swivel in really. It does a little bit, and it's not what I wanted because I figured if all I have to do is bend a 90-degree, and then they would join over here if this was angled enough. I hate to grind this, but I might have to just grind a little bit off so it can rotate more. But also, I'm going to take off this bracket here. This has to be 10 on the bottom. I see other ones with 8, and I guess I can make it work. But it's already with GMs. They start at the 12 line. It goes to 10. I'd like to keep it the way it was designed in that sense. But the nut on this line is going to hit. So I figured that I'm going to take this guy and flatten this, and I hope it doesn't distort it. But I think I have an idea, which I will get to. First, I got to get this guy out. Okay, I'll make another video to put together. But yeah, that's my idea to try to use this. Like I said, I might have to, I could swivel down all I want. Of course, it's going to hit this, but I wanted to swivel like this one down more and this one almost straight, because this one just has to be like 90-degree angle right here. This is actually not as big a deal. This one is the one I really wanted to go down, but if this one went collectively up and this one went collectively down, and then you can kind of play with this a little bit, but it doesn't really allow for inward swivel. So that was my only gripe with that. So, oh well. But I have a good idea to flatten that right now. I'll show you in a minute. One day I'll buy a tripod. I literally just have this kind of hanging out somewhere. Hopefully you see it, but I got my trusty bolt buster. Okay, I'm going to go around like this. I want to see if I'm able to hold it after a while or not. It should glow red after it burns off all the dirt. I don't want to get smoke on my camera. This might be too big of a bolt buster, but it doesn't seem that way. But if it's too big, it won't heat up quick, and then I'm going to be hot on the other side. But if I can get this cherry red, oh, it's getting there. Please don't burn me. The object is to not distort the angle. I want this guy to touch. Getting hot. Oof. I'm going to have to let it cool off and do it again. But that's basically what I'm going to end up doing. Almost seemed like it crimped it more in the back than the front. Might be better just to hold it on one side and hit it with a hammer after it's hot as well. That might prove to work pretty good too. In fact, let's see. Of course, I have no hammer nearby. Always something. Alright, this one you're trying to prove a point. Whew. Oh, it's getting hot. I gotta hold it with something. I should have got vice grips. That would have been nice. Whoops. Oh well. I'm gonna make another video. It's too hot to hold, so but I think it's gonna work out pretty good. So flattened it, and while it was still warm, I used vice grips and I kind of hooked it up, and I got the nut on, I got the bolt through, and I nailed it together so it took shape. There's actually a decent amount of room. It can go down a little bit. I don't know how much more down it's supposed to be. I think both hoses kind of go like here, so this one may have to go down more. But it can be bent again, or I can just leave it alone. But it probably will go down a bit before, that happens, before it touches. Um, and I still might be able to flatten it more. Um, might be worth even trying to do it now just to get it over with. But you see, there's a sensor in there I put, and I like to put that sensor in. I have it jumped on my other car, but they don't sell the single sensor for this plug. It's a dual one, and it comes with the plug, and you got to ground one side, and then you plug it in, and then you put it to this wire. This goes directly to the ground of the compressor. So what happens is you have the pressure coming on here, and the low pressure. Well, actually, this just turns on the fan. What am I talking about? I'm pretty sure it just turns on the fan. Anyway, the low pressure turns on the positive of the compressor, but this one turns on the negative. So you could just leave it, and it'll always be on. But what happens is if your fan stops working for any reason, okay, if you jump this, the compressor will run indefinitely because it won't have a safety to shut it off. So you have because normally on a rear-wheel drive car, you at least have the air coming through here with the fan, so you don't reach ridiculous high pressure pressures. So I think that's pretty good. And like I said, I'd be able to go down a little bit, and I can always tighten this on first and then slip it in once everything's all bent if I had to. But I got to look at some of the videos. There's a guy with a beige Chevy Celebrity that has something. But my concern was I wanted to, because you could see in the original, if you could see original hose, they kind of crisscross. They don't crisscross, but they come to a point where they both touch each other. They're obviously apart like this, and then they touch each other, and then they both turn this way. So this is the other line, and you might be able to see what I mean now. See, and I don't know. See, that's why I really wanted them to go down more. Like I said, I may have to modify that thing, and I just kind of hate to do it because it has a plating on it and whatnot. Let me turn this up so I can thread it. You see, technically right here, they crisscross over here. I just really, and like this guy can come up. If they can come up and then both can go down, it may not be so bad, but they both have to end up bending right here and then be next to each other. So I was just assuming that if I got the swivel thing, it'd be good, but the swivel is meant to go this way, really. Yeah, I can bend it in a couple of different ways, but it's, it's not really what I wanted to do. I got to see, and it's a little funny going in front of the mount here because then it goes right. It's like I'm not quite sure how I see these things passing where I see them in the video, and it looks ultimately like a pretty straight line. Let me show you. Still waiting on my stuff for the AC condenser, the little brackets and everything. They got lost in the mail. See, this is not like, and I was wondering if this thing here that this heater hose was in, it's really correct, because this could be an aftermarket thing, this loop here that goes there, because you can't buy the proper hose anymore. So I was almost thinking that this particular clamp is actually supposed to be for the AC or not. I'm not 100% sure. I may end up putting it there, but I mean, if this goes there, this is the bottom one, then it's got a, what do you call it? It's like just got to go there, just got to miss the oil drain, and then you don't want it too far up against that, so it's got to be away a little bit. So ultimately it's got to be supported in such a way that this can work. So my idea on paper is not 100% foolproof, and ultimately if I got a fixed manifold, no matter what, I gotta then bend the pipes a certain way. But I was really hoping that they would crisscross, and they do ever so minorly. And I hate to grind this, because I just feel, I don't know how thick walled this is, although it seems pretty fucking thick, to be honest. So That might be the key, just to fucking grind that. Fuck it. You know? Because if I can get these both ground down, but not so much the bottom one, because the bottom one would only have to go down, not up. The thing is, it gets close to here then once you get too far. But if I can just get them to crisscross at some point, either this went up and this went down, not that I want it that far up, I can get them to eventually join each other, and then I'm only making one 90-degree bend. You know, by making one 90-degree bend, they're not going to run, they'll run parallel at a certain point, but then you can play with this to change this angle. So that's my big fat idea. So I'm going to try to do something. I'm going to try to wire this wire, get the belt on, and maybe get over to this side. And I got to fix the harness for that. I got special connectors for this guy. Those are the wires, and that's the plug. So hopefully these connectors, you know, work out. And so far so good. Can't wait till this is all done. Alright, garage door closed with the heat on. Couldn't take it anymore. A little bit of sun was good, but anyway, I grinded a lot of this bracket. It's amazing how much you gotta grind to actually get the angles that you want. Because if you notice, this thing here is wrapped so tightly here. I felt funny because, you know, I don't want to take away strength from here. Don't know how strong it actually is, but I took a lot. I took enough away, but then I took a lot more from there. Apparently this is gonna rust now, so I gotta basically paint it. But that can go down pretty. This was not the problem going down, but I wasn't sure if I could also go up depending where I'm going to have it. But now I can go way up. Of course, that's a little close to that bolt right there. But the main thing is this one can go down until pretty much all the way down, and it may just be very marginal right there. But I think no matter what, it should be okay. At least now, these have better intersecting points. You know, so this is not a good indication because I have those caps on. But you can see right now, this pretty much crisscrosses. I'm not even, you know, I'm not even at the angle, and I'm definitely going to touch them. So that's a good thing. I gotta get a GM high side adapter and have it welded into that pipe, TIG welded, and that came out pretty good. Now I'm going to do the this you know, harness plug here. Got these wires here somewhere. So I got two heavy black and red. I got a green and a darker green. That's it over right there. And I got some nice connectors from a local auto parts store that has been around for like 70 years, and they actually can get like a lot of obsolete stuff. They have obsolete stuff, but not always. I asked about the Oldsmobile diesel and they didn't even know it existed. So this is the plug. I got all the plugs out, and I wanted the correct things. As you can see, this has the little tits. I got 10 of each, and it's supposed to be for 14 gauge, but I'm going to put 12 gauge where the where it calls for the what do you call it, for the, you know, the blower main wires there, because it is what it is. Like, I think these are 12 gauge, he said, but they're wider. I'm not sure if they're supposed to be wide. I can take a better look at everything and see what happens. But that's going to come out good. And I bought this special connector because you see, crimper I should say, because you see, I had to do something like this before where it's a pain in the ass to really bend these to get it right. I mean, you get it, it's okay. Like a lot of times you make it, nobody's going to tug on it, it's not going to be an issue. But you see, there's two different sizes here. The small one is to crimp the wire, and the big one is to crimp where the insulation is. So 15 bucks, well worth it. So first time using this. Not too bad, I must say. Looks pretty damn good to me. It's brand new. Very nice. I didn't have 2-color green, so I had to, you know, put the green, the dark green with the green, or the light green, I forgot. Yeah, the dark green with this green, and then I put the light green with the blue. I'm pretty sure this side is going to rust, but that's how far I had to do it. I kind of grinded it okay. Polished up this side from the paint that dripped over. And still trying to get this guy on and figure out where the angles of the hose is going to be. So I bought this pipe bender, Hillmore, $60 on eBay. I got it in one day from Minnesota to New York. That was incredible. It does 1/2 inch, 3/8, and 1/4. So the benefit of using this over, you know, granted it can't do 5/16, it's made for refrigeration pretty much, and it says hook alignment mark. Oh, I didn't even realize all these scales. I just did it by eye. But I tried to put the number 10 in there, and I thought the 10 was 1/2 inch. This is like 5/8 or 3/4 actually. So I'm like, oh no. So I was like, ugh. So, but I'm telling you right now, I just bent the other pipe, the top pipe, the skinnier pipe. Man, that was pretty freaking awesome. It really did a nice job. And that's basically how it's going to fit. Remember, I was telling you about the angle. I can change it now with this, you know. And I'm probably going to use the ready to, you know, the heater hose mount for this for the most part. With something else, I may just put a piece of like rubber between the two metal pipes as well. And I basically cleared it, you know, because when you look, I looked in some other videos, you have enough room to get this open. Granted, the other one's going underneath. That's why this one can go up, and it kind of like dips down. It kind of dips down here, and this goes at a 90-degree turn, and then the other one goes like this. The bottom one bends around and comes around that way onto the receiver dryer. Like I said, I probably have to move those things I just put on, but that's kind of why I left the wires long. But this came out awesome. I just got to get a different bender for the other ones. I might as well at this point. I just invested in it, and I got to do a bunch of bends on this car, on the 40 Buick, you know. But I think they came out kick-ass. I got to get the guy to weld me. I got to cut it out of another pipe because I couldn't find it. It's the smaller 3/16 port, the GM port that they have in these cars. Like I said, I could technically take those 3 wires and run it all the way over here, which is really not a problem, and it saves me from welding it, but I still have to have a charging port. So I was going to have the guy put a charging port as well as that, like the original hose has, but my original hose did not have this guy, you know, so I thought I would just use that as a charging port. It seems as though this one would be more of a sensor since it's close to the thing, but then again, the sensor is over there, but that's for the fan. It's hard to say what this was for. I'd have to look in some other cars. Apparently, you know, they only made one hose and they went up to the 90s probably. And, you know, that was that. But this is the sensor, and it's I think it's the smaller one. I'm going to have to double check, but I'm pretty sure it's the smaller thread. GM thread. I got to try it on some other hoses that I have and take a look, because I got to get it right, obviously, because they sell the one that's 3/16 and it's the 1/4 inch one that they don't sell. Whatever one, I thought it was the smaller one, but in fact what I should do is try to screw it on where this guy is, you know, because I know that's the bigger one. I think that was the bigger one of the two. In fact, this one here, it kind of looks like the same size. Does it screw on though? Yes, it does. So I don't know. Some thinking to do. Like I said, on the I can put the low side on the receiver dryer. You know, I don't need to have one over there. Not sure. I think it was over here. But it's kind of cool to be here and here to charge, as opposed to, you know, going over there. So that's why I wasn't even kind of thinking of it. I would just put an adapter over here, and I guess that's that. That's a wrap up for the day. I'm pretty tired. Did a lot of running around trying to find things, and you know, but I got the belt all on, you know, And, you know, things are painted up. I ended up painting, I think I showed you that already. I painted that guy. I just polished it back. Yeah, this line was, I had to take off the return line just to get the bolts for the compressor in and out. I put together the original fuel pump bolts. I put the high pressure cutoff switch for the, basically will turn the compressor off if the pressure is too high. And I put the ground on that bolt for that bracket right here, and the smashing of that bracket came out pretty good, I want to say. It looks like plenty of room. Still got to be awfully strong. Don't like to leave things like that completely off, so, you know, it worked out. I taped up a few things. I actually finished the little harness over here. The connector coming out, or maybe just funny. But, yeah, I'm going to see what size this is to be certain before I have them welded anything, you know. But this came out perfect, you know. It really did. I'm shocked. You know, like I said, this swing on the original one takes a turn down, but because I have all these different connectors and everything, I might be able to just do a 90 right off of here. But I might just dip it down first to like a 45 and then put a 45 and then the 90 going into the into there where this guy is. No, that's the bottom. It would go into the top, you know, the top part of the condenser. Oh, so I got to do the battery cables tomorrow, and I guess I can put the lower hose on. And I remember looking for this 3-4 years ago, but particularly looking like crazy when my fans started making a lot of noise. And these fans were high performance guys were taking the fans off these front wheel drive diesels, not the Oldsmobile 98. That's a regular fan, but because it's so little space, they have this very tight fan, and it's a really heavy duty motor, and it's a rebuildable motor. But I wasn't even counting on anybody trying to, you know, rebuild it by any means. But this guy here, it's slim, but it's huge. It has this huge resistor on it. I actually found a brand new resistor, and now I found the motor. I actually took apart this motor and greased the bearings. I actually bought 2 more of these motors from a junkyard that had them. They had 2. They had them on the shelf. I explained it to him. He goes, "Damn, I never seen this before." So I was going to put a used one in from another car, but I actually found a brand spanking new motor, and I'm going to just change the motor, and I found the resistor, so I'm going to put both new now, and it'll have a new plug for this. This plug was okay. The other side was a little iffy, which is on the car, which is not much I can do with, unless the junkyard cut off the pigtail, which would be kind of cool. Kind of buried over here. No such luck with that one. And no such luck with that one. I got 2 extras of these motors now. Now I have 3, because really it works, you know, and it blows hard. You know, it blows hard like a son of a bitch, and it just has a sound to it that like really spools up to make me feel like the bearing was bad. And I actually bought the bearing. I think one side wasn't, I think the bearing was only on one side, and when I spun it by hand, it sounded funny too. I just like greased it up and put it back in, but the brushes were good. Sorry for the mess. Brushes were good, everything was good with it, you know. So this is a 40 Buick that I'm working on. I had to strip it down and paint it again. It's just not coming out right, the paint. It's really fucking, you know, stolen. I love the color, I like the way it looks, but it's like it doesn't dry, and I'm spraying it too much. You see how this looks shiny? You put flat paint on so many times, it actually starts to look shiny, you know. But I had to get an initial paint down, I think, that was going to dry, and that way the coats would be better. I'm just going to have to be patient. Oh, think about that. That's for that guy. One day. Well, I'm doing a lot of work on this. You can see my other videos. Anyway, I think, and I got all these hoses. I got different connectors. I bought a crimper to crimp my own AC lines. Therefore, I can do other lines as well. I had the guy made me the the oil hose because I found one online, brand new one, and the other one I had to have it made. They charged me $40, and I'm like, you know what? I could do this myself. This is stupid, you know. So it really wasn't much. Yeah, it's Chinese stuff, but the amount I'm going to use is probably not a terrible amount, you know. But I'll figure out this AC. It was important to me to get it done because I just didn't think I was going to ever get to it then. So now I'm just I have the brackets coming in the mail, but it's already 5-6 days late, and I don't think I'm going to see these parts. I had the brackets for the accumulator, and apparently it's like temporarily lost in the mail. I said, don't worry, it's on its way. I'm like, but it hasn't moved. So, oh well, I'm heading in for the night on this Saturday, and it's probably like 8 o'clock, so I think I've had it. I'm going to give that other thing a coat of paint and then head home. Alright, take it easy.